Okay, great. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Let my tongue speak the truth. Let my mind think the truth. Let my heart receive inspiration directly from you so that my mind comply to it. Ameen. Today I saw in the news that a child was being tortured in front of his parents so that his parents can speak to people who torture them. I felt some pieces of that pain today, and it destroyed me for a few seconds or more, maybe 5 and 10, because I immediately tried to indulge myself into the world of meaning behind these worldly events. If I can't do that to myself, I'm afraid my heart may astray. And it's not that I don't let myself feel that disbelief from time to time, because then it leads me to ask for more questions and seeks more meaning in things that I don't understand. Seeking meaning in the life that I understand so little. Though this belief feels worse than seeing the facts of this world through the lens of what I see, which is a child being tortured, a parent who is watching him. It is just pure devastation. There is nothing that can be explained meaningfully in that occasion. There is nothing that can be explained. I immediately remembered God. I tried to put him next to what was happening at that moment, to that child and to his parents. He created a world in which this moment has occurred. And we have been informed about this in our scripture, in the Quran. The scripture that we believe as the speech of God, the only word we know that has been protected by God. This belief felt worse because if I disbelieve in the justice of the universe, it means that I will have to have the burden of everything that I see with my eyes. I could not even bear that for 2 seconds. I was going to lose my mind. Then one can ask, then we will believe and ignore what's happening in the world. Oh, no, of course. Don't be idiot. It doesn't mean that. It means that justice is not how we see in the level of God. Justice works in its own style, in its own methods. It has its own ways of working in the decree of God. And we don't understand it sometimes. But we have been informed about this in the Quran also. We have been told that we will not know everything. We have been told that God knows and we do not. But we still should endeavor to keep the justice in the world and still working on what we can to not let those things happen in the world. How are we going to do this? How are we going to achieve this then? Some people have means. Some people have ways to do that. Actual practical change. People should raise with this awareness and consciousness that they can make a change in the world. If not stop every oppression in the world, they can at least do something to not let some of them happen. To avoid as best as they can, as best as we can. Why? Why should we avoid? Isn't just God taking care of and creating everything the dilemma, right? We should strive because this is what God us created to become, to manifest, to be the just that he means for humankind to be on the earth. When the injustices happen, if there was no injustice, we wouldn't have the area, stage, to perform the justice that we have with our free will. So the test is happening for the free will. So belief rescues us from drowning in the pain that consumes us. What else? What is the other reasons that why we believe in the oneness of God and that he creates everything? Every moment, every inch, every microseconds that we experience in this world and at the moment. Why should we believe? Or why belief is there? Why is there such a thing? You know, it's because we cannot erase that. Belief isn't a choice. Belief is what everything is. When you don't believe, in reality, you do not disbelieve. You just disbelieve in what, in reality, is believable. So, what you do exactly, not harming or doing benefit to anyone, but to disconnect yourself from the truth of this one reality, which is encompassed by one God who created, who sustains, who designs the entire universe and cosmos. Therefore, disbelief is not a choice. Well, it is a choice in how you will act and how you will think in the world. When we die, we believe that we will see what's out there, what is true, what is real. But we can see some of that reality here in the earth, here in the world, here in our lifetime as well. And that's why we have been sent some verbal guidance, the Quran. Sometimes I ask myself, oh my Lord, don't you have other ways to test us without letting the oppressor oppress the innocent? What he tells me in the book. I know and you do not. And please pay attention here. The same God, in the same scripture, I was just talking about it with a friend of mine. He cares for the travelers. He cares for the orphan. He cares for the oppressed. Obviously. Oh, well, that innocent child is hurting. And that parent, that feeling of your child is being tortured in front of you, it's unimaginable trauma that they must be going through. God is letting that moment occurring. God is letting that occurring. And he says in the same scripture that you should give from your own money to travelers. Zakat, prescribed alms. Remember that verse. Why does he care so much about the travelers? Because you are miserable when you're traveling. Imagine any international traveling. Imagine any road trip. There's a lot of things that are happening physically, mentally. It is hard. The point is traveling is hard. And it makes you physically, not spiritually, physically miserable and in need. And God cares about that. This God cares about my tired feet. The God who let the oppressor oppress the innocent one cares about the travelers. He wants those people to have a better time with their tired feet or hungry stomachs. My point is not the travelers. I hope you are getting that. My point is, what is my point? My point is, God cares about physical well-being of human being. God cares about physical well-being of human being. That what the Quran and what God says in the Quran about this law that he establishes, that the people who have means should give what they have to people who don't, which by default, God accepts that some people at times will have less means and will have more difficulties than others, and the people who have less difficulty should be serving to the ones who have more difficulties. That's the kind of law that he wants us to live by. And I think if we will not trust this God, we will only hurt our own selves. Because human being can only thrive eternally by trusting this God, by aligning himself to the rules and mechanisms of this universe. Believing in him in the times of difficulty makes sense because, you know why? You know why? You know why it makes sense? Because we don't have any choice. Do you have any more choice? I mean, you can choose to disbelieve, yes, you can. This would be as if you were saying, I don't exist. Well, yeah, I mean, you are literally denying what's out there. But the thing is, we don't have much knowledge of what you are, or why we are, or why do we exist. We don't know. We don't know. Because this is not our game. I did not choose to exist. Something gave me existence. I did not choose to breathe. Somebody has designed my lungs to that way so that the other parts of my organs can be in harmony with the way I breathe in and out. And in that way, I live. I'm sustained. I don't have any control over the beats of my heart. We don't have control over anything. Well, we do. Just a little. Very little. That's called free will. That's where people do things with their own hands. People do choose evil. People do choose torturing innocent babies in front of their parents. What I'm saying is that this is not our game. And claiming ownership in the game, in the stage that we don't have ownership over, will only hurt us. And maybe it will lead us to hurt more than just ourselves. But mainly us. Because a soul who has been created will never perish. If you're watching this right now, that means that you will live forever. Your soul will exist continuously in the eternity of the universe. We don't know in what condition, we don't know how, we don't know in which form, in good or bad, but we are told in the Quran that it will be according to what we have done in our beginning journey, which is world, the earth, and it will determine the rest of our existence in the universe. So, the world was not created for our failure, but for our own benefit. We should believe in this, because believing in this will establish us in a secure and trusting place where we put our trust in God and live in accordance with his innate justice, which he shared with us when he was creating our souls. That is our task. How do we do that? How do we do this?